bigger ones right here are last year's gators, and then there's some little ones.
Welcome to Fable Travels, Episode 4. We woke up at the Comfort Inn. After making quick work of our continental breakfast, we headed out of Yuli and on to our planned accommodations for the day. We drove and drove. And drove some more. Until finally we rolled into our destination. The one, the only, Lauman Lake Lodge. A one-of-a-kind location, Lauman Lake Lodge is difficult to put into a short description. Part campground, part down-market resort, and part local bar, the Lauman Lake Lodge was a breath of fresh air after the generic hotels we had stayed at for the last few nights. The check-in counter happened to also be at the bar. The staff was no nonsense, but very friendly, informing us matter-of-factly that since a party had canceled, they had moved our reservations into the deluxe cabin, free of charge. When we arrived at our unit, we were almost floored. They had modestly referred to our accommodations as a lodge, but what they gave us was closer to a condo. The amenities were wonderful, and soon we moved in and felt right at home. Which was a good thing, because NASA had more bad news for us. The shuttle had been pushed off once more as they continued to troubleshoot the latest problems. We extended our stay and decided to not worry about it and just unwind. If we had to be laid over somewhere in Florida, waiting for our shuttle launch that might not ever go off, Lauman Lake Lodge was pretty much the best place to do it. The environment was calm and relaxing, the weather was great, and there was plenty to do on and off site, like airboat rides. If you are ever in the area, this is a serious must-do activity. It is one of the greatest highlights of our whole trip. The feeling is indescribable. I thought the engine roar would mute the experience. But after you put those earmuffs on, you quickly forget all about it. The world suddenly opens up and transforms. As the engines roar up to speed, the water becomes smooth as glass, and you no longer feel yourself floating. You are flying. Everything else fades in your wake as you become an observer to a world few ever see. The huge ecosystem of the wetlands.
There's a bald eagle just right.
For more airboat ride footage, click here, or click the link in the underbar. We stayed at the lodge several days, waiting news from NASA that the shuttle launch had been greenlit. But this news never came. After discovering the root cause of one of the failures was a broken circuit breaker, a narrow launch window was opened up, but rained out the next day. This put the next launch window further out than we could make. The closest we got to the shuttle was an outing to the Kennedy Space Center. Truth be told, this was still a pretty good time. But all good things must come to an end. We packed up and turned in our key. The Lauman Lake Lodge had been a wonderful respite on our travel, but it was time to get back to the open road.